everybody, and welcome to the last episode of uh, Fant ten Tabletastic. Yeah, that's a hard word to say. Tabletastic 2, the Doug Leko book. We're going to assemble the block today. And
Yes.
Stephanie, of course, is here, fresh from her cruise and everything.
Hello.
So, and you can see Stephanie's got her lovely Christmas blocks in the background. So we were talking beforehand. Everybody here knows that I've already put my blocks together and made the quilt and that kind of thing. But we were talking this morning about it, and Stephanie, you've decided you're not going to do a quilt, right?
Yeah, I was planning on doing a quilt kind of like Steven, about the same size as him. I was going to do 3 by 3. But the more of these blocks I do, I'm not as interested in making a quilt.
I know how
They're
you
they're
feel.
just so finicky, and I'm just kind of done with this project and ready to move on to other things.
Yeah.
So I have two up on the wall behind me, you guys can see, and then I have this one here. So I think what I might do is finish this, make a table runner, and I'm sort of collecting things lately to go towards to auction off towards my scholarship fund for my retreats. So I may auction this one off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. We need to talk a little bit about that more. But anyways, because I just had a thought and it hurt. Um, but anyways, yeah. So and I pushed myself. I'll be honest. When we started this project, we both, we were really happy that everybody voted for us to do the Churchill block. We liked the block. We thought it was great and the whole bit. And we do like the look, but we've talked about it, the problems we've had with putting it together when you have more than one block. And somebody said to me the other day, maybe he knew about that and Doug Leko and decided this was just going to be a table topper.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
could be.
it's really put me off doing other ones in the book, which is kind of a shame because I like a lot of the ones in there. I like the way they look, but if they're this kind of problem, aggravation. I mean, it's not because it's hard, it's just that pieces aren't fitting together right. And I blamed it on me. I said, well, I'm an idiot.
No,
But
it is
no,
definitely not you because I consider myself to be a pretty decent piecer. I mean, that's usually when you guys know I put stuff in quilt shows. That is usually the comment that I get the best on, like excellent piecing, and I am struggling. So I'm
yeah,
to the point where I don't want to struggle with this anymore. I just want to be done with it.
yeah.
Um,
And
so
to be
that's why I'm going to put it
honest,
into sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead, finish it.
Yeah, so that's why I was decided I'm going to make a table runner out of this because there's other things that can bring me joy, and this one's not.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it did quilt out on
No,
my, but it's no, because of the frustration, this is a charity quilt as far as I'm concerned, because I really don't like it. And it's because of the little problems. I mean, I like my colors, I like the design, but yeah.
yeah,
And I have can't help but think, and to be very transparent about this, I mean, we're not pushing anything here on anybody. We don't get any money from doing this. This was just something we thought we'd like to do for fun and bring you guys along on the journey.
mhm,
And I think he's pushing his ruler for this. And I priced out his ruler, and they're very pricey
they
for this.
are.
So
Yeah.
maybe the little problems we had, if we'd had the ruler, maybe we wouldn't have had the problems. But I'm not going to spend, well, for me, Canadian, I saw it on Amazon. The ruler was like $44.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, well, you maybe could use it for other projects, but I have other rulers that'll
Excuse me.
work too. I don't like one-offs. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like especially rulers that only are for one purpose.
yeah. But
So,
anyways, yeah, we bitched and complained, but we have seen it through. And so today we're putting the block finally together. So I'm going to go over to my cutting table. And you can see I have it all laid out here the way it's supposed to go. These pieces, this will be really quick to do. This is what they call Unit F, the big
mhm.
center piece. And then each of these corner pieces are Unit L, which we've already put together in the previous sessions. So putting this together is really easy now. And all you have to do is you need to center. each one of these corners, and all I do, and maybe Stephanie does it differently, I just flip it over and I find my point here at the bottom, and I just line it up, the edges together, and I kind of aim the point of this piece to the point opposite. Now you could fold it in half, make a crease, and find this dead center of your centerpiece of the unit F and do it,
Mhm.
but I didn't. So what did you do, Stephanie?
So yeah, actually, now that we're nearly finished, I'm not as concerned as long as it looks like they sort of meet in the center there. So
Yeah.
I'm actually putting a pin where the this seam here, the I don't know what letter that was, but these two seams here
Oh
where
yeah,
these
I see what you mean.
match up.
Actually,
Um,
I like that idea better.
yeah, so that's all I'm doing. And after I put a pin there, I just checked this centerpiece here, or where the two points come together,
Right?
and they're laying right on top of each other, so they're fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna fuss over it because, like I said, I just kind of at this point want it done. I do want my seams to match up as much as possible, but I think it'll turn out just fine if you pin here and you pin here.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, now that I think about it, because I've worked so far ahead on this, I think that's exactly what I did too, because you want your seams, those ones, you want those to match up. You don't want them off off center, because that'll be very noticeable. So yeah, I
Yeah.
probably did the same thing and then looked at that. I don't
I've
really.
pinned more for these little blocks than I have than I do for most quilts.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm clipping. You pin, do you?
What's that?
Do you pin or clip?
Either or. I don't usually do either though for most quilts that I do. So that's why I said I've pinned more for this quilt
Yeah,
than
well,
the
I
little
use
block.
my Wonder Clips. I love my Wonder Clips.
Yeah. That's
Because,
what I was saying. This block is so finicky. You have to like
yeah, and what I
you
do,
have to
I
pin
do
or
two.
clip.
I do the opposite sides at the same time at the sewing machine and clip them into one right, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine.
So that was with pinning. I did one side and those little points right here matched up perfectly. So I pinned here and I pinned here and those came right together. So
Okay.
no problem.
And I'm going to let all of you people in on a little secret with mine. This one that I'm working on right now will be a cast off because I ran out of one of the fabrics in this that I needed and I had some scraps. So I basically had to piece some scraps together to get a big enough piece to make a piece.
Oh,
And I sewed one. Okay, I am an idiot. I sewed one of those pieces backwards in the seam. So I had a seam at the top, like on the good side. And so I thought and it was already into that piece of the quilt or in the piece of the top. And
uh-huh.
I could have ripped it out, but I thought, no, I got out a fabric marker and colored in the stitches so no one would notice. I mean, I wouldn't have done that if this was actually going to be the piece I was going to use in my quilt. But because this is basically a dummy piece, I just figured out a heck with it.
Love it.
I I have been known to use fabric markers before, though, on especially when I first got into quilting. There was a couple of things I may have made that, well, you could see kind of the stitches. You weren't supposed to. So I thought, okay, I'll just color them in. I don't do that now, but sometimes fabric markers can be your best friend.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to press these.
No judgments here.
No, well, my problem is too. I'll tell people this stuff. I probably shouldn't, but like everybody
Yeah,
knows.
but they might have the same problem and be looking for a solution like that. So,
Well, yeah, Okay, now I can do the other two pieces. And you don't have to worry about trimming off your dog ears. At least I'm not. Are you trimming off your dog ears, or are you just going to leave that until you square it all up?
I'm gonna leave that till I square it all up, which I'm not gonna do on camera just because I do have like a big 20-inch square ruler,
Oh, okay.
but it won't fit over here where I'm sewing. So I have to take it to my cutting table across the room. So I'm not gonna do that on camera, but yeah, I'm not gonna cut them off until I'm ready to square up.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody pretty much knows how to square up.
Yeah.
If you don't, we're
But
not.
yeah, they said in the instructions to leave these little dog ears on if you guys can see them in the video. So I'm just gonna leave them until I square up the whole block.
Okay. Remember, put a couple of clips down here. Okay.
So we were planning on doing another sew along, not right away from this book, but not sure if we're going to.
We have been rethinking it because of the difficulties we had with
Yeah.
this one and feel a little bit burned, like, okay.
Yeah, a little bit. So we'll have to think of something else. We'll have to come up with something else.
Yeah, yeah. Something that doesn't make us pull our hair out.
Right?
I am disappointed though, because I was really looking. I have never done one of his patterns before. I actually have two of his patterns that I acquired, quite a long time ago. And I've never done anything with them. And now I'm thinking I probably never will.
Yeah, he came out with a block of the month. I think it's called Chatsworth this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought the book and I just haven't decided what fabric I wanted to use. But now I'm like, okay, after doing this, I'm going to study the book and see the techniques he used because either I'm going to have to change it or I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know there are people out there who said they have done Doug Leko patterns before, absolutely love them, and that's great. Maybe it's just this one burned us a little bit and it's making us a little shy. But I would definitely have to take a look at the patterns I have if I decide I want to do one of them. And like you said, analyze it carefully.
Yeah. And the blocks that he has are very pretty. I just don't want to fuss that hard over things to have it still come out not really right.
Yeah, that's right. Press this. Okay. So,
Your colors are so striking. I love yours.
yeah, in fact, when I picked the colors, I just grabbed some things. I didn't really think that hard because I was making the prototype to try it out. And
Hmm.
Walter took a look at it. He says, "Oh, I really like those colors." And, okay, that's what it's going to be. If Walter likes it, that's what it's going to be. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice block when you get it together. But it was the frustration we had, as we said before. And plus, I found when I was making the quilt, getting everything to match up, no matter what I did, it was out by a little bit in this
Yeah.
in the secondary design. These blocks on the corners when you were matching those up, and it shouldn't have because my blocks were all the same size, and I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So So you can see you've got all these little dog ears that are hanging out over the edges. So at this point, and Stephanie ears all done now too. Yeah. That is really pretty as a Christmas quilt. it
Yeah.
would make it, but it's too bad it just doesn't fit together well. Um, but this is the stage where we're not going to show it, but we would square it up and it should
Yeah.
finish at, what was it? He said 20 and a half.
20 and a half, I believe. Yeah, 20 and a half.
Yeah, well, after squaring this up, mine would not be 20 and a half. Actually, right now, before squaring it up, it is 20 and a half, but once I shave a little bit off to square it up, it's not going to be 20 and a half. It's going to be more like 20 and a quarter.
Yeah, mine's pretty close. It might be about an eighth of an inch off, but enough that I can.
Now, I'm not going to blame that on Doug Leko. I'll blame that on my own self for that part of it. But,
Yeah.
and that happens
But
with
I
it.
think I'm going to take your advice from doing your quilt and put even just a really small like sashing, maybe like an inch and a half in between,
Yeah.
just so I don't have that matching up problem.
Yeah, and I think too, with a little bit of the sashing, just a small sashing, you're still going to get a sense of that secondary pattern that comes out when you put the piece together, but
Mhm.
it's not going to be so obvious that things didn't match up perfectly. If
Yeah.
that, so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I am now done with
Yay.
this, and we are done the sessions now.
Yep.
So if you guys have whatever you're doing with your final ones, whether you're keeping them as a table topper or you're going to make them into a table runner or be foolish like me and do um a whole quilt out of it, send us a picture of your final version of it and I'll post it up here on the Idiot Quilter. If you send it to Stephanie, I'm sure she'll post it up on one of her videos as well, so we can see what happened, what you guys did, how you got around, if you had any of the problems or anything.
Yeah, I'd love to see what other people did.
Yeah, yeah, me
Um,
too.
I mean, hanging there, they look nice. They
Hmm.
just
Yeah,
fussy. I just don't want to do it anymore.
yeah. No, I'm done with it. Moving on to other
Yeah.
projects.
I'm glad we did this though.
Yeah, it was a learning experience,
Mhm.
and especially it made me feel a little bit better about my piecing skills because realizing that other people were having the same problem, I thought it was just me and went, oh, nope, not just me.
No, I don't think it's you. Nope, not
No.
at all. Mm-mm.
So that was good. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining us for this little adventure that we've had, and we will probably have more adventures in the future with other things.
Yes.
So anything you want to say, Stephanie, before we say goodbye?
No, thanks for sewing along with us. And I hope that for those of you there home struggling with this, because I know a lot of you said you did,
Yep.
that you see us and that we're struggling. So don't be hard on yourselves
Yeah.
because
Don't
this is not an easy thing.
no, no. It's supposed to be fun, so sometimes you get something like this and you just cut your losses, don't cry over it, move on. Move on.
Yep, exactly.
I do that all the time. Just moving on. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the very near future, I'm sure, for other adventures in quilting. Bye.